boy. Ahí vamos todos.
Juntos.
Ahí vamos juntos. We've been talking here on the break with Mr. Chris Baca, who was a former YDI executive and founder, if you will, in 1972, I think. Thereabouts, or 73, give or take. But so we're talking to him here about the wonderful things that have come about thanks to him. Thanks to him, is that right? Him and his associates, his wonderful people that have helped him with the details and the phone calls and all of that. For what? To help communities. And there's a community blossoming in the South Valley, isn't there?
Yes, sir. I'm a South Valley native. Still live and work. There. I mean, one of the things we made, my wife made a decision if we're going to be really community change agents, that we should really stick it out and do the things that we could do to the very best of our abilities.
Sure.
So here's where we're at.
Tell me.
The last 35 years, we have found that the things that we're doing are good. They're just not good enough. And the reason why they're not just good enough, because you take a little parcel here and then and you scrunch in some projects and some units and all of that. And that is, in essence, provides some housing for folks that are moving into these units. But what about the greater community around you?
Yeah.
Right. And you just don't have the opportunities. Like on 4th Street, we're lucky to have almost 80 acres to do that.
80 acres?
8.
Oh, eight. Well, that's a lot.
It's a lot for downtown, right?
Yeah.
But our next step is 97 acres, almost 100 acres over in the South Valley.
Wow.
On Rio Bravo and 2nd Street. What if you had a blank slate and you had an opportunity to design a community that's based on well-being, right? So because we know, science knows, medicine knows that the well-being is predicated, and I mentioned it earlier, in what you eat and where you live and how active you are. And most of our communities are just designed kind of haphazardly, and we place something here and one there and one there, but it's never really thought out from the 30,000 foot level all the way to ground level. If you look at it from here, you said there's a way we can design a community where it is accessible to nature, it is greener, it is good for the environment, it's good for the individual. How do we design that? We design it with intention, right? So one of the things we know about families, that especially those that have not the most disposable amount of disposable income. One of the things that suffers the most is what they eat, right? It's fast food.
Yeah.
It's cheap food.
Yeah.
It's not the healthiest food. What if we were able to have on site an aggregator facility for small farms to bring in their produce, process it there, and then with economies of scale, be able to feed a whole community? Because we know we can feed one complex at a time. We're doing it right now. Even downtown, we have one building that's 4 stories up. On the 5th floor, we have a garden that'll knock your socks off.
Wow.
So we said, if we can do it in this small compressed space, how can we build something that meets the whole need of a community that, say, it's 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000 people? And we're thinking like that, and we've got the master plan going right now to build a community like that. And what about if we make it like this beautiful place that you have here, where you can walk outside your door and then you can walk.
And you can eat alfalfa.
And you can eat alfalfa.
Rabanitos in the garden.
No, let's just not forget about quelites.
Quelites, there's some growing.
Yeah, verdolagas, stuff that we have. Well, that grows well. That's actually good. You can't do that if you design it that way.
Sure.
And so we're building one that has an aggregator facility and will be connected to 74 small farms. So that alone will bring a ton of produce into the site, and also be able to have enough volume to be able to feed a whole community. The other thing we're building is connections to walking trails. It's right against the bosque, so you can take the Chris Chavez Trail as an example. There's bike trails. There is the new Valle del Oro open space over there. There's so many things that we can take advantage of if we can build a community there. And we're thinking at that level.
So how in the world are you going to get this project? Well, you've got the master plan, you said.
Yeah.
And so now we got to get the bucks here.
El dinero.
El dinero, la mula.
La lana.
La lana.
Yeah.
Hey, in any language, it's
money.
Money, and it does wonders. Place to the right place. There's so many rich folks out there, wealthy folks, that might be looking for an excuse, maybe to donate, help. Well, there's the Bill Gates Foundation. There's Buffett out there wanting to give money away in their own way. Philanthropists, of course. What a better way to spend their money. How much do you need? Just tell me.
Oh, the whole thing that build out will probably be 300, 400 million. So it's little bites that we're taking here and there. But we have 25 acres that are right now being planned. Here's one thing, though. You mentioned something very magical there. We were able to get a small grant from the Bezos Foundation.
Mira.
Yeah.
That's excellent.
Yes, Albuquerque roots, right?
Andale, Albuquerque roots.
And so we're going to be able to plant an orchard. I saw that your trees here. We're planting about 170 trees, fruiting trees, fruiting nuts, and some that are drought resistant, some that grow here.
Sure.
But then we'll be able to, along with the produce that we're going to have from the small farms, we're going to have apples and albaricoques, apricots.
You're going to help a lot of people.
We're going to help a lot of people. It's going to be organically grown, and it's going to be on site. You're not going to have to drive up to Whole Foods to buy it. You can walk there.
There you go.
And you can get it freshly harvested, and you can
go.
take it home and you prepare it.
Yeah.
But the secret is that it's accessibility and walkability, right?
Right.
Not that we don't all need cars. We do. But if we could walk more, you know how healthy it is. You have your morning walk.
Daily.
Daily.
You right. Make time. That's important. Yeah.
That's why you look so young and so fit. That's the secret. If people are out in the audience saying, well, look at how does this guy continue to look so great?
Exercise, no.
Exercise, and you say your little jardín that you have outside.
Un jardín pero suave, no?
Muy suave el jardín. If you can do that, if we can make those kinds of things available, you too can look like Nelson Martinez.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
But no, it's an opportunity that a lot of people have. And I think part of the thing we were talking earlier is how to, how to make the day last longer. And how do you do that? Well, you got to just sit down and what works for you and what doesn't, and go from there. Que no, se me hace a mí que sí, pero no sé qué está haciendo la cámara here. Oh, yeah, espérame. There we go. We're all at one-man band, as I was telling Chris earlier. So forgive us for punching everywhere and the pictures show up. But no, pues aquí estamos, ¿no? Ahí está más guapo que. Mira. So, dime más cosas before we wrap it up. I want to ask you the very tender subject of foster kids. Tell me about that.
Well,
you help them too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Of course. That's
absolutely. And YDI plays a big role there. We have something that they have something that's called transitional living units. And what happens is there's a lot of kids that are in foster care that never get adopted.
Yeah.
So when you got to the age of 18, you're now an adult. You're no longer a part of the foster care system. So what happens to these kids, right, that have no place to go?
Yeah.
The way you do that is you build facilities just for them. They learn how to live in a cooperative apartment complex. If they finish their school, they get them to finish their school. If they get them a job, they teach them how to handle a budget, because you're going to have to buy groceries. Yeah. You're going to have to put gas in your car. You're going to have to pay the electricity.
So who does all of this?
That's YDI.
That's YDI.
That's YDI. That's the remnants of what I started a long time ago. These folks have advanced it even further. And so that's how you do that, because kids in foster care need more than what we think. I had an opportunity. A young lady came to visit me last week or a few weeks ago. Actually reached out to me to talk about how she had done so well because of a project we had over at YDI. That was a Teatro Consejo, Theater of Council, right?
¿Cómo se llama otra vez? ¿Teatro de qué?
Teatro Consejo.
Teatro Consejo.
Right.
Very good. I like
it's
that.
Really good. And so she actually was a top-notch dancer, went out to LA and kind of found her niche niche over there. But she was in foster care. She was in All Faiths, that was somewhere around here for the longest time. And then when she went through our program, and then she found that she could actually make a living as a dancer. And so she went to Los Angeles, where she actually had a good career there, and then said, I need to come back. So she's been talking to me about, how can I come back? I want to come back to my community.
Sure.
She is actually from Taos, up your neck of the woods.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
She
yeah.
says, the spirituality of New Mexico is not something I found in Los Angeles. She said,
Of course.
so I need to come back to where I'm from. And she's brought back a wealth of experience from having come a really traumatic childhood, and actually done something with her life. And she always give credence to the work that we did with her when she was in one of our projects.
Wow.
She says, I want to come back, and I'm reaching out to you first, because I want you to know that I want to come back, and I want to do something more for the community, because you helped me. I want to help others. And that's the kind of thing that makes all that work all worth it, right? When somebody says, thank you for what you did. And sometimes you don't remember the young man or young lady, but sometimes they stick out in your mind. And she certainly did, because she managed to keep in contact with the organization and with myself. And now she's coming back to do great things in New Mexico. I would, at some point in time, it'd be good if you talk to her. She's got some
Love to
amazing,
talk to her.
she has some amazing stories.
¿Y cómo se llama?
Se llama Juanita Romano.
Ay, me gusta el nombre, Juanita Romano.
Juanita
Ay,
Romano.
qué nombre tan romántico.
Romántico, sí. Yeah, and so there's other folks like that I think, with the program that you have right here, give them also the exposure that they need, because they're moving on to their next
Project or
their
life
next project,
chapter.
There you go.
Next
There you
chapter.
go, yeah.
And they can all be very, very challenging.
Yeah.
But with people like you out there, Chris, and again, we're talking to Chris Baca, who is with, now it's called YesHousing. He's making things happen along with the folks that work for him and volunteer, mostly some of them. And, makes life easier for those who are not as privileged, perhaps, and don't have the things that a lot of other people have. You drive by under the freeway, there they are, the homeless people, or kids that are kind of feel lost, I guess,
Right.
Because they have no one to look to. And you are the savior in one big, big, big reward coming to you from the heavens, for sure. You're really, really outstanding in my view, for sure. Gracias for your work.
A usted.
No, pero no te dejo ir. I don't want to let you go yet until I make sure that I remind people that you're a work provider, a workforce provider. No, you've been that way. A lot of people come in and roll up their sleeves. No,
Right. The only way you advance in life, I think, no matter what you do, no matter what career you choose, is if you work. If you bring a work ethic and acceptance of yourself, of who you are and what your space is, you're going to be successful, right? You've advanced in your career because you worked very, very, very hard at it. And you probably had a lot of obstacles along the way, but you didn't let that stop you.
that's right.
That's the same experience I had.
Yeah.
Very few of us are born with a silver spoon in our mouth. Right?
Yeah, right.
So, no,
Some of us are born without indoor plumbing. But
well, some of us, the silver spoon is a tortilla. and so, but not everybody has that opportunity.
Yeah.
But if we just encourage people, we are not better than anybody, and nobody's better than us. That's what my dad taught me.
Yeah.
¿Sí?
Yeah.
No eres mejor que ellos no son mejor que tú.
Yeah.
And so I understood that. I said, okay, I'm not going to be, whatever anybody's judgment might be of me, I know who I am,
Yeah.
so I'm just going to be me, right? And that's what a lot of young people don't have, that kind of encouragement.
And you know what? Before we go, I just want to mention that just on the same track that Chris is kind of conversing about, let's put it that way, bringing up the fact that don't let anybody stop you in the sense of when they feel like, I'm going to cut you down, you this or you that,
Right.
getting in your way. And who do you think you are? They ask sometimes, Don't let that stop you. I am who I am. I've got a mission. And envisioning. We talked about that earlier, Chris. Before we go, let's really focus on how to get things done. And you had a vision. 40, how many years ago? You had a vision, and with that vision, it came fantastic passion that you got things done.
Right.
And boy, it's contagious, really. What's the other word? It does spread if you only share it openly with people. The talent you have, the encouragement you can give them, and you show it. You show the success. And the community really, really is appreciative of your existence. I wish there were more of you. I'm sure people say that all the time. So again, you're a workforce provider. You help foster kids. Have in the past 18,000 families you've helped. A year, not just a 40-year span.
Right.
Fíjate. So you deserve a lot of thank yous, and I hope you, wherever you're looking at this, maybe you've got the means and say, we do got to help. I got to do my share. I think I'll write that check. And then this podcast wasn't intended for that kind of thing. But now that he talks about how that YesHousing and YDI has helped so many people, why not? Your bucks, if you've got a few extra bucks in there, like $500,000, hey, envision yourself. Write that check for YDI that'll help how many kids and families. So anyway, we'll be right back for our final goodbye in just a second. Don't go away. We have to just take a quick pause. Bueno. Don't go away.
If you haven't tried the Breaking Bad burger from La Mexicana Tortilla Company, you're missing out. It's one of the show's favorites, just one of many delicious items on the menu. La Mexicana Tortilla Company, 304 Cole Avenue Southwest, downtown.
So we just wrapping this up, a great interview with Chris Baca, the former CEO and president of YDI, helping youth develop, per se. And then the latest offspring, if you will, is YesHousing, helping the community of Albuquerque, New Mexico, permanently, the whole place. So not a waste of time here speaking to this young man. And so we thank him for that. And before we go, again, thank you on behalf of the foster kids that you've helped. Thank you to all the families, for Pete's sake, that owe you a mountain of gratitude. And your family knows that because they've gone through it with you.
Yes, they have.
So, yeah, family's the one that we always look to. A little attaboy or thank you, and they give you plenty of that, I'm sure.
Or nalgada, as my dad used to.
Te voy a dar unos baquetazos.
Un bucket.
Yeah, those were the days, huh?
Yes, sir.
But anyway, you have been absolutely wonderful to so many people, and eliminate some of those homeless folks. Not eliminate per se, but get them off the streets and get them in those apartments. Teach them some pride, so to speak. Not that they don't have any, would have it all. I went up to a homeless one time. I wanted to interview him actually, and I just wanted to say, "How did you get here? What do you think got you here with homeless?" And they wouldn't interview. They said, "Do you have any thing you can pay me to interview?" And I said, "Well, don't pay for interviews. Just wanted to see how we can help." "No, get out of here." Blah 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 blah. But they're not all that way. A lot of people.
No.
do need the help, and you've certainly done that. You've filled their shoes. Your motto, too, by the way, before I forget, I love their motto. It's school to career readiness.
Right.
That is a whole bunch of things. Oh, and before I forget, download or just look at YouTube. There's a great tribute video history of this young man here, Chris Baca. You got to look at it. It is absolutely excellent. little background of that film, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that was as I was getting ready to retire, my son Marcos Baca, who unfortunately passed away,
I'm sorry.
wanted to do a video tribute to me, and he being a videographer, he had a degree from UNM on media arts, and he put that together for me as I was exiting. Yeah, so he knew all the backstory because I would regale him with all the stories, and then he got to work there in the media arts department and put that together. And I forgot about it until you told me now.
It's beautiful. It's a well done project. I said, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So more people ought to see that. And I don't know. Well, you've had a colorful life, and I'm sorry about the loss of your son. And it's a tragedy for sure. And I hope no one has to go through that, but we do, I guess. Nevertheless, onward. Turn the chapter. Thank you so much for coming for an interview. I think the people like you should be advertised, if you will. Shine some light that you certainly deserve. Done a lot of work you have. And I'm glad I can say this because you're not my boss. So it's not like I'm lambiéndote or whatever.
No, and I'm taking it all in. Dame más. No, it's the appreciation of folks is really certainly what is the greatest payday, right? Yeah. That is knowing that you have done and touched some lives and made their lives better. That's worth it.
That's beautiful. Bueno, señor, muchas gracias.
A usted.
Tengo mucho orgullo de hablar contigo. I'm proud to have said, hey, I know Mr. Chris Baca. Yeah. Who doesn't? So anyway, thank you for coming by. And mucha suerte con tu proyecto, with your project. A lot of good luck. If you need any help, I'm sure they're out there. Mr. Buffett, Mr. Gates, Melinda, she has her own thing with Melinda Gates. Ken Mazzo, there's so many. Bezos helped you out, you said? Right. Oh my gosh. So there are people willing to help with their money, their power, that however they came to be. It's hard work, no doubt. But maybe a little over to the YesHousing and YDI. They could use your help, certainly. Muchas gracias. Hasta las otras piscas, whatever that means. What does that mean? Piscas? The next fishing date?
Yeah.
Oh, something like that. Anyway. Bueno.
Okay, unless you say pizzas, I'll take that one too.
Pizzas, you bet. At any rate, thank you for joining us and sticking with us here on this great interview with Chris Baca, and let you know that there are people out here in the metro area in New Mexico, but especially northern New Mexico, where I'm from, that get help if they need it. They just need to know how to reach the folks that can help you. And in this case, it's YDI.
And YesHousing Inc.
And YesHousingInc.org, did you say?
Yeah.
How's that address again? We'll give you the address one more time.
YDINM.org.
YDINM.org.
And YesHousing.
And YesHousing.org. There it is. Simple as that.
Wow, Marcos, where do I begin? You were an amazing man and an amazing friend to have. And if I remember first meeting you, you were reserved. You didn't talk a lot. I didn't think you were a very sociable person. Just turns out you're deaf and couldn't hear in your ear. But man, once people finally got to know you, you were one of the funniest, big-hearted people I have ever known in my life. What always used to impress me with you and Brian when you guys did Mavos was the passion that you guys had for the kids. You guys were always there for them. You guys always went above and beyond for them, Marcos. Those kids are never going to forget the knowledge you gave them and the opportunity that you gave them they may never have had a chance to. What was more impressive when it came to you was I always saw you had your mom's heart for community. Your dad is an amazing person in this community. He had a different approach, and you have that approach with him too, and how to work with kids and how to work with families. But you had your mom's heart when it came to being a part of a community and building a stronger community. It was very passionate in you, especially the last 4 or 5 years. I just saw it. saw you grow in it, and I saw how your eyes would light up. You were absolutely an amazing father to all your kids, your girls and your son. They are so lucky to have you, and they have a great foundation in who to be when they grow up based on what they learned from you. And it's something you'll never be taken away from them. You are always going to be in their hearts. You're going to be in all our hearts, brother. We're going to miss you greatly. You are absolutely an amazing human being. God had a plan for you, brother. And I don't know what else to say. I'm going to start crying if I keep going. But Marcos, you're going to be greatly missed. I mean, it is hard to say just exactly the impact you had on so many people's lives. And I don't think sometimes you realized it, but you had such an impact. An impact that will stay with us for the rest of our lives, and that we will pass on to other people. Brother, God bless you, and I'm going to love you always.
I met Marcos when I was between 12 and 14. Met him through my parents, who both at the time worked with YDI. I believe our first project together was Day at the Ditch, and then that would be followed by Day the World Ended. Both of them I portrayed his dad, Chris Baca, and Marcos, from what I could remember, just was really intrigued by his dad's stories growing up in Albuquerque, and wanted to honor him in a way doing that, and create something that us kids could really get involved in as far as filmmaking. Marcos saw the benefit of the film industry in Albuquerque and New Mexico, way before it ever took off. He envisioned it becoming a big thing, so I've known him since, probably about middle school. I continued on going to learn documentary filmmaking with Marcos into high school. Marcos was just, he's going to be really missed by not just myself, but everybody who he's touched and been part of their lives.